Existence, a term that circumscribes a being's origin, cause, reason, significance, and relevance, is a phenomenon that is at constant flux. One encounters these questions almost every single day. What is the reason behind this phenomenon? What is its relevance? How was this substance or element formed? Or what is its origin? The list of such questions is interminable. The origin, cause, and reason form the concomitant intangibles of a being, the order of which continues to be a big question. The universe we dwell in consists of a plethora of such beings and their idiosyncrasies, some of which are yet to be discovered by the human civilization. The ones already found are complex enough that makes our eyes squint and put our brains in deep contemplation. The process of comprehending a foreign idea involves a distortion of meaning that breeds new concepts and questions. These particular distortions, which embraces the immensity of the complexities of a being, interest Space Anfractuous. Architecture is a narrative-loaded complex system that houses within itself several layers of meanings, and these ideas and questions fuel Space Anfractuous architectural works. Space Anfractuous is a metaphor for a smooth mixture of ambiguities and ambivalence, like ethereal forms, juxtapositions, and multi-layered folds of meanings that exist perhaps in every possible substance. The explorations wrap these several frames and form architecture out of them. The workflow adopted embraces processes and ideas like freehand drawings, intuitive ideation, and subjectivity, which according to me are endangered species now. The works try to unveil the combination of various styles that any architectural piece houses within itself. Space Anfractuous believes that complex systems should not be immured in one definite thing, and our explorations should go beyond the idea of either or and embrace the idea of and both. I see these sketches as a starting point, and I like to develop them further by using various mediums. I feel I think better when I draw or write, so that is an integral part of my process. I draw and write a lot. Like a lot. Another sphere that I'm trying to work on is the idea of beyond mediums, trying to find a middle ground between the analog and digital. I love digital tools, but I also love what a thinking hand can do on a piece of paper. For softwares, I use Rhino, Maya, and ZBrush usually, but I've always been a fan of what a human mind can do, and I like to fuse different mediums in my architectural works. To be honest, the process of Space Anfractuous is very fluid. It keeps changing every time I take up a new project, and if I had to talk about the technique, I think it keeps oscillating between drawing, reading, writing, redrawing, thinking, modeling, remodeling, and maybe rewriting, and the process goes on. I just try to enjoy the overall process. I have always been a process lover and wish to be in future as well. One question that is prevalent in the architectural field is the question of style. In what style one must build in, or what style is the most pragmatic and aesthetic at the same time. I remember in our college years, everyone was trying to chase one style and stick to it, and it was something which was also encouraged. But I always found myself refuting with the notion of the absolute. In my opinion, I feel that absolute is a collusion, and my body of work tries to respond to that. It is sort of ambiguous, multidimensional, and leaves you to discover it. I like to work with the idea of conscious and subconscious. Although I believe that everything that happens is a product of the two, it is just bound to happen. They drive everything. But I like to deliberately fuse the conscious and the subconscious in my work. I see Space Anfractuous as the confluence or the meeting point of these two things. The whole act of the creative process informs my works. As I mentioned before too, the workflow adopted embraces processes and ideas like freehand drawing, painting, intuitive ideation, and subjectivity. I feel they are endangered species now, and I like to see them in action in my works. Space Anfractuous does not have a particular style, it rather keeps evolving. Like Eisenman once said in his interview, I'm not convinced that I have a style. Space Anfractuous takes into account an object and subjects it to changes according to its peculiar logic and provides a new solution, hence keeping the language smooth and flexible enough to incorporate various requirements and functions. It questions the conventionals that exist in our realm and attempts to provide suggestions and exceptions, some of which raise new questions in the process. In a sense, it forms a mixture of various styles rather than become an epitome of one definite style. Escaping the influence of the precedent, be it visual, visceral, intellectual, spiritual, or sensual, no matter how significant or insignificant the experience is a very daunting task. I've learned that putting a tracing sheet on the precedent, drawing a future over it, and going beyond the pre-established trajectory yields the best solution. I see Space Anfractuous as an ongoing continuous research that draws its inspiration from the works of Peter Eisenman, Robert Venturi, Jeffrey Kipnis, Greg Lynn, Bernard Shomey, Zaha Hadid, John Hayduk, to name a few canons of the architectural realm. The Anfractuous architectural objects resist being reduced to pure geometric forms or figures. They rather are inexact morphologies, as expounded in Greg Lynn's architectural curvilinearity theory. The works can be interpreted as expressions of spaces and objects that are set in continuous motion, engulfing, reducing, folding, merging, blending, flowing, and spreading. Hence the name Space Anfractuous. Lastly, this is Sovona Ghatak, the woman behind Space Anfractuous, trying to explore, evolve, and expand it in multiple directions and levels. Thank you.